At the end of last year, the Legislative Assembly's Legal and Social Issues Committee held further hearings for its inquiry into the recruitment methods and impacts of cults and organised fringe groups. The committee has continued to hear from a wide range of stakeholders, including community support groups, the federal regulator for charities, and people with lived experience. The committee heard from Brendan Byrne, chaplaincy coordinator at the University of Melbourne.
Cults operate with a mix of secrecy and brazenness. They target vulnerable students in order to isolate them from the support that is available to them through peer relationships, the university's student welfare services, and student representative bodies. They hover around the margins, posing as legitimate religious organisations, deflecting questions about their structure, origins, and purpose with evasive non-answers. At the same time, they do not hesitate to accost potential recruits on campus, in public spaces such as shopping malls and train stations, and they even attend the worship services of mainline faith communities in order to try and identify those they think might be vulnerable to recruitment.
Also appearing from the University of Melbourne was Joshua Stagg, President of the University of Melbourne Student Union.
Best way of doing it is going through the organisations that already have a level of trust amongst the student body. There might be benefit in, I know we had the Metro Tunnel holding a stall at the last orientation, in terms of establishing that state government presence within the orientation week and providing information. I think the biggest thing is just alerting students to the presence of these issues, because when I first heard of it, I think cult is a very inflammatory word. You don't take it seriously. And it was only after discussions with Brendan that we had it right that this was a real problem. And so I think a lot of students come, they might hear the word cult and just associate it with Indiana Jones or something like that. But in reality, if they were aware of it, then they could also inform their social circles, and it would be a lot harder for these, because we're never going to be able to close our orientations up to the public in the middle of the city. But if students had the knowledge of it, then the cults would have a more difficult time.
The committee spoke with the Australian Charities and Not-for-Profits Commission.
Conduct that harms people, particularly children and vulnerable adults, is so serious that it's an enduring priority of our compliance work. We exercise all available powers to address this type of non-compliance, and where intelligence indicates serious unlawful or criminal activities, we escalate these matters and work with the relevant authorities, such as police.
Lee Bartlett, the Executive Officer at the Barwon Adolescents Task Force, has worked with people who have left coercive high-control groups.
It's about ensuring that when they walk into the door, that the screening tools that are used, the psychosocial screening tools that are used, pick up those nuances around coercive control. Young people don't always have the language of what it is, so they're not presenting with the right language. So it's ensuring the questions that we're asking them can lead them there. It might be, you would assume a young person would often come in through a homelessness entry point first. I've spoken to the homelessness entry point in Geelong about what this would look like. And it's about the screening tools that are used there are very similar to what they're used when they go into Centrelink. So, and also that check and balance. If a family say, no, they've got somewhere safe to live at home, we spend a lot of time telling especially young women, that they should be believed when they say something, yet often that's a point where people aren't believed. So if we're going to have a culture of believing young people when they present, we need to make sure that's a deep and authentic culture too.
The committee also heard from Mary Hughes, who has lived experience.
Why did I stay? At 16, I was afraid and insecure, with no self-awareness at that age. I was not developed as an adult so as to be in a position to make an informed decision. I implicitly trusted Catholic doctrine and ritual as the prioress mother figure interpreted it on behalf of a God that she made in her own image with unchallenged authority. I could not leave. I did not know another life. More service and less concern about self were the means of salvation. There was no outside world for me. I was physically enclosed within high walls and with absolute control.
Patrick McIver, lead author of a joint submission prepared by advocates and people with lived experience, appeared before the committee to discuss solutions to address harmful group behaviours.
I think a number of people have recommended, and this has come up a lot in our conversations, is like education in schools would be helpful. I think there is an awkward amount of registered professionals that already see what's going on here. And they would really benefit from training. It's staggering the amount of registered health, legal, financial professionals who have concerns and who are asking questions, but there's not many available answers.
The committee is due to present its final report in September 2026. To see more of the committee's work, including insights gained from people with lived experience, and to read the over 250 submissions received by the committee, visit the inquiry's website.